visit.
Yeah, Josh is at Tri-Cities Airport. Josh, what do you expect the president to discuss during today's visit to the Tri-Cities?
Well, good afternoon from Tri-City Aviation. We are getting ready here for the arrival of President Donald Trump at around 5:15 to 5:20. It's at that point that we fully expect from the sky back in this direction, we will see Air Force One begin to descend for landing here at Tri-City Airport. I want to show you just real quickly what's happening right now. This is being moved. This is the mobile staircase. The President of the United States will walk off of the plane and step onto that staircase and descend onto the tarmac. He will be followed by a group of dignitaries who are traveling with the President. The travel list has not been released, but we've learned that some folks close to the campaign will be with the President and will be greeting folks here on the tarmac at Tri-City Aviation. Now, not able to be seen, but literally right here beside of us right now. I don't know, maybe we can get a shot of it, but this is the backup staircase that will come down if the other one doesn't work. And I was told earlier, yeah, this is the White House. This is the Secret Service. They travel with a backup plan, so the president will be able to get off of the airplane regardless. So let's get to what we've learned so far. We have been told that when the president arrives here at Tri-City Aviation, he will come off of the plane and will potentially have a time to be able to greet people who've gathered here on the airport runway. That includes an area over here which they're calling friends and family, and I'm told that those are people who have connections to the Secret Service, to the working White House staff. I guess it gives the family and friends a chance to be able to come and see their loved ones at work as they protect and serve the president. The other thing that we're told will happen at that point is potentially the president will be able to greet law enforcement, and there are many of them who have gathered here on the runway. That greeting with law enforcement actually may happen at Freedom Hall later on as well. And then a big question has been, what would happen at that point? Would Marsha Blackburn be on the plane with him? Would Phil Rowe be on the plane with him? We have received no confirmation that I've seen so far about who will be on board Air Force One with the President of the United States. But I think it's a fairly safe bet that he will be traveling from Washington with guests, and it's very possible that Marsha Blackburn will be with him. And I say that because that really is the genesis behind this visit. He is coming here to support her campaign for the United States Senate. The White House has seen the polls that we've reported on extensively, which have shown a very, very tight race. The most recent polling from last month showing Democrat Phil Bredesen with a slight lead, which is incredibly significant because this is Tennessee, firmly Republican, a huge win for the president 2 years ago. Democrats haven't won statewide office in this state in years, and yet here we are looking at a very popular former governor who is a Democrat leading in some polls. When you put it into that context, it would make sense that as much as possible the president would be seen with Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, who's running for Senate here in Tennessee. Now, after that point, what's next? We've learned that the president will be traveling by motorcade to the White House, to Freedom Hall, which will have as much security as the White House tonight. It's going to be unbelievable what awaits the president there. As far as a route is concerned, within the last hour we've heard from a very well-placed source who's going to be handling security that route is not going to be made public, but that it will be a route that is closed. The moment the president's motorcade leaves Tri-City Aviation, leaves Tri-Cities Airport, until he gets to the airport, or at that moment he leaves, the route, I'm told, will close. So that means if he lands at 5:15 to 5:20 and gets in the car, say, we're just guessing, 5:30, that means from here to Freedom Hall, that route closes. So if you're planning travel tonight, you need to be preparing for that. Will he take Interstate 81 to Interstate 26 to Roane Street? Will he take 75 and State Route? We don't know that. But we know they will move quickly, and we know that traffic will be impacted almost immediately and will stay that way. And the same is true when he leaves Freedom Hall tonight after the event. I'm told that route from Freedom Hall all the way here to the airport will be closed even before he gets to it, and right after he comes through, that route will be opened back up. We are on a platform where earlier today we didn't think we'd have a chance to be at this time of the day. We're very appreciative of the Secret Service and the security detail for allowing us to come here and report to you from this angle. Right here is where Air Force One will be. Nose pointed to the left of your screen, tail to the right. The president, we're told, will walk right off here. It's going to be parallel to this platform on which we're currently standing. And we'll be with the president as he comes here, part of the area that's just off to the airport, just off to the planes, parallel. We'll stay here, we'll bring it to you live. our hope is to be able to bring you coverage live of the movement of the president from here to Freedom Hall. And then in Freedom Hall, which is something I don't want to get into if you guys have already covered it, but the president will be for about an hour doing events like a round table is what it's being called now. We will not see the president until he walks back out on the stage around 7:15 or 7:20 tonight. That's the latest from Tri-City Aviation. They're getting the steps ready. Guys, back to you.